Okay, welcome everyone. First off, I just want to say thank you for your time, and I appreciate every single one of you and all the support that you lend me in any which way, shape, or form that you show it. What we're going to be doing tonight is the same thing we were doing last night. And that is just basically a test here on how far, well, not really how far, kind of, but basically I'm just going to go through this thing as fast as I can and see what my time looks like at certain spots. That's basically what I'm going for here. I kind of screwed up with the Kefka battle up at Narshi last night, and I did something stupid which kind of cost me. But I don't even remember where I was at that spot. Like maybe 2 hours. I don't remember exactly what it was. It wasn't too much. I didn't do too much out of the way as far as what normally would be collected. Basically, the only thing I collected was the relics and the guardian. I didn't get any other chests except for the tent after the boss fight at Mount Colts and the room in the Returner's hideout. The room to the northwest in there that has like the white cape and all that other stuff. I did get all those chests in that room, but the white cape, I was gonna get the white cape anyway. I don't think I got. I guess I did get the sleeping bag in the cave on the way back to Arvis's house. But for the most part, I was just hauling ass. And I'm going to do that same thing again. And we're going to see what kind of timestamps I can get. And we did do the lock scenario last, which usually I don't do. Usually I do the Sabin scenario last. But we'll go ahead and see how this goes. So I guess basically getting the bare minimum stuff. I guess I could try not getting the hyper wrist. No, I'm not going to do that. That would just be unwise. If I was just thinking, I could just wait to get the hyper wrist and the running shoes until Locke came through there. But I just don't think. Well, honestly, yeah, the hyper wrist. So the running shoes, I don't think that would. Yeah, I don't know. It would be interesting to just you know, compare you know, the battle up at the top of Narshi, using that as kind of a barometer, and going with different paths, you know? Like, if I don't get the running shoes, you know, how much time do I save? But do I make that time up by having the running shoes, you know? Because typically what I do is I give the Hyper Wrist and the Atlas Armlet to Edgar and the running shoes to Terra, but from that point on, Terra having the running shoes really isn't that big of a deal. In fact, I think I'd rather have Edgar because I think he's faster. So, you know, not having the running shoes might not be that big of a deal. It's really only one character, right? But the Hyper Wrist is kind of a big deal. Also, I can try and see what I get from the returners if I say no twice. I don't remember for sure. You know, that could actually work out. I'd still only have the one Atlas Armlet for the battle with Vargas, which would slow that battle down a little bit. But honestly, at the end of the day, I don't know how much it would really cost us. And I'm not sure how much it would cost us in Mount Colts either, just simply due to the fact that I'm just trying to think here. Terra would have, you know, fire, so we could do multi-target fire, so one round of multi-target fire and one round of auto crossbow with the Atlas Armlet ought to kill just about everybody. So, and I haven't done the quick kill on Welk yet because it's just one of those things where the amount of time that you're saving it's less than a minute, which can be important, you know, like 30 seconds or whatever it is, but at the end of the day, since this is not a hard and fast, you know, we're not going for, I mean, this isn't for the real thing, this is just practice. So, because it's just practice, you know, I don't want to have to reset if I don't get the, you know, the quick kill. The quick kill is fine, because, you know, if you are going for the real deal, getting the quick kill might be worth it. I don't know, maybe not. We'll see. It would be nice if just simply holding down the A button would advance those dialogues. Really? Gotta get that in there? Wrench? So, we didn't get anything last night as we went through here. But on the way back, I didn't get that one either, but I did get that sleeping bag right there. Sleeping bag is one of the most underrated items in this game. You really don't need it very much until you get a little bit into the game. Or, you know, you could use it earlier. I don't think that's a sleeping bag right now, though. If I were to collect that right now, I don't think it would be a sleeping bag. I think it changes what it is, like 3 or 4 times. Which is interesting. You know, it's one thing for it to change what it is between the World of Balance and the World of Ruin, but it does change. I believe the items in that cave change a couple of times. He's just really having a little bit too much fun there, I think. Then there's this guy, our resident treasure hunter. Always been a big fan of the thief class in Final Fantasy. There's always a lot of really good stuff that you can acquire via that skill set. It's good, I like it. Oh. Oh. Kupo. That's some irony there. Hey, good fortune with the first steel hitting. The reason why I go after the wow, and then we get a crit on top of it. The reason why I go after the Marshal first is because he hits pretty hard compared to the Lobo, and I'm not really all that concerned about the Lobo. But plus he does net, so it's just like it's best to just focus the attack on the Marshal and just get him out of the way, and then once he's gone, then the Lobos will fall quickly. But this is a pretty simple fight. So we're gonna skip the room. The sleeping bag would be nice, but it's far from, you know, that big of a deal if we don't get it. And then same thing with the stuff in Figaro Castle. We're gonna go ahead and skip that stuff as well. There's really anything we need in Figaro Castle right now. Plus, we're going to be coming through there again. We'll be going. Well, actually, we'll be going to Figaro Castle multiple times, but we'll be going back there again before too long. So it's not really that big of a deal. We can collect. What, you know, like in the shops, for example. Wow, it takes 3 casts? Since when does it take 3 casts? So the shops, like for example, the shop that sells the weapons, we'll be going in there to get a drill when we get, you know, back to Figaro Castle the next time. And then, as far as the items room, we'll be buying like some Phoenix Downs and stuff at that point, because we'll have a little bit of money at our disposal, and we're gonna want to stock up on a few supplies at that spot. So since we're gonna be going in that room anyway, you know, there's not really any need to go in there right now. It would be nice. It would be a convenience factor because it gives us a little bit of wiggle room if anything goes sideways. Like for example, Terra. You know, it's pretty common that people will, they will, they'll heal the party up with her magic at the save point in Mount Colts. And then they'll just use like a sleeping bag on her, right? But that's not really necessary. Honestly, and I gotta decide, am I gonna get, you know, I guess I could just do the same thing. Skip the running shoes and the Hyper Wrist in South Figaro, and just simply collect it with the lock scenario when I have to go in there anyway. That would be something I could try. What the hell? Okay, that's weird. Oh, what am I doing? What I'm doing is I'm reading my email. Which probably I shouldn't be doing. I don't even know what to do about this. What do you do? You know, what do you do? So I bought something from Walmart, right? Online. It was like $5.99, right? So plus tax, like $6 and change, okay? And it arrived the other day in the mail, but I never got an email telling me that it had arrived, right? Which is customary. But then, you know, some days pass, and I get an email telling me that my order has been delayed. And I'm like, well, whatever, you know, it was delivered the other days. But the thing we're talking about here is like $5, right? It's like $5.99. And now I get another email from Walmart telling me that my order has been canceled. And they're sorry that it didn't ship. And then I get an email from PayPal telling me that I've just got a refund for $6 and some change, right? Now, I feel like morally, that's not my money, man. I got the item. But we're talking about like $5 and change, right? So, because it's such a small amount of money, I'm like, dude, like, it's not worth my time. You know what I mean? It's going to be more of a headache for the people on the phone if I call Walmart and say, hey, my thing was actually delivered. And they're going to find out it was $5.99. And the guy on the phone is probably going to be like, you know what, just forget about it. So I don't know what to do, you know, like morally, like I haven't done anything wrong. But at the same time, I feel, you know, like what's the difference if I was at like the gas station and I bought something and the guy just gave me my change back but gave me back my money for what I bought. You know, if that had happened in that moment, I'd be like, oh, you gave me too much back, and I just give him the money. Problem solved. But we live in this different world now where people buy shit online, right? And it's like, I guess if it was the other way around and I had got the wrong item, I would just expect that they would refund my money. So, I don't know. I don't know if they're going to have the ability to go in and take more money off my PayPal is the issue, right? Do they have authority to retroactively go back in and... I feel like this is a... You know what I should just simply do? I should just take that money, whatever it was, and donate it to charity. That way I can feel like I've got a clean conscience, like I didn't get anything for free. Right? Because how's Walmart going to try and resolve that $6 issue? You know, how are they even going to do that? If I went to a manager at the Walmart store and told him my story, he would probably be like, dude, just forget about it. I would much rather just go to the Walmart store, ask for a manager, and give him cash money and say, here, do what you will with this $6.35. Like, I just want a clean conscience that I gave you the money that is owed you. But I don't want to go through the headache of trying to have them resolve this thing over the phone, because the guy on the phone is going to be like, why the hell did you even call us, first of all? You know what I mean? No, we don't want to do that. I don't know what to do. Maybe I'll just go to the Walmart. I'll just go to Walmart next time I'm at Walmart, and I'll ask to speak to the manager. And I'll be like, hey, this is what happened. And I don't want to call them because they're not even know how to fix this. Like, the people online are good about refunding your money for you. Like, sometimes I'll order coffee, right? And then, like, I order whole bean coffee. And sometimes they'll send me the right coffee, but it's ground already. And I'm like, no, dude, that's the wrong stuff. Like, that's not what I ordered. And depending on who I talk to on the phone, they'll either say, we'll keep it or give it to charity. We'll just refund you your money. Or they'll say, take it back to a Walmart store and we'll refund your money. It just depends on who I've talked to, because this happened a couple of times. Whoever the people are that are like picking the order or whatever, they're just not paying close enough attention. They see the name that says, you know, it's this brand and this flavor. They don't look close enough to check if it's whole bean or ground, right? Because, you know, only people that are, you know, coffee people would even care about that. But, you know, I guess you could call me a coffee person. I don't buy coffee from like Starbucks and stuff like that, you know, because it's like you're just basically buying a whole bunch of fat and sweetener mixed in with, you know, would you like some coffee with your sugar and fat, please? You know, because it is loaded up, dude, with so much crap. It's not even coffee anymore. My coffee, I don't put any kind of sweetener in at all. And it's changed over the years, but these days, all I put in my coffee is half and half. And even more recently, I've been putting less and less half and half in my coffee. I just thought that I was using too much, you know? It's like, you know, that's not... I don't need to be using that much coffee. Or that much half and half, I mean. At some point, it starts to take away from, you know, the coffee. There's a happy medium there where if you have too little, it's not quite enough. You know, to cut the coffee. Because coffee... Well, the coffee that I've been buying now for about a year, it's not very... what would the word be? not bitter. It's not very bitter. I mean, a coffee is bitter, but it's not. It's not as bitter as most coffee, I would say. It's softer. It's a nice soft. It's good. It's good coffee. I like it. It's not like crazy expensive stuff, you know. Walmart carries it, so that tells you a lot, right? Like my local Walmart doesn't carry it, but you can find it online on their website. And I think it's a really good coffee. And price-wise, I think probably it's reasonably priced. I guess it's a little higher than I would like. It costs more now than it used to when I first started buying it, I'll tell you that. Not by like an insane amount, but it's definitely gone up. But, you know, most things have gone up. But that's bullshit. It's artificial. I think that stuff's going to start correcting itself a little bit. We are going to try doing this without the running shoes, or I'm sorry, yeah, without the running shoes and the hyper wrist. We're going to see how it works. And we'll see how the time functions with it. This Rhinotar, probably a good test. He probably won't die here, and well, he wouldn't have. Well, maybe he would have. I don't know. It very well may have taken two. Once Edgar gets the Atlas armlet, that will make a nice difference for us. The hyper wrist alone isn't that huge of a deal. The hyper wrist combined with the Atlas armlet is a pretty substantial difference. But we'll see how it goes. I do have this option here, so I can use the fire in conjunction with the auto crossbow, and I think that should be enough to kill most of the encounters in one round, especially once we get that Atlas armlet. That will make a pretty big difference. And I am going to get the Guardian. I think it's the fastest weapon in the game. There might be one that's faster, actually. But I'm not sure about that. Like, as far as what weapon can you put on lock that will make him the fastest? I don't think there's anything faster than this one. Which is pretty impressive, because you get it super early. So far, nothing really too problematic, but we also haven't run into any of the stronger monsters yet. We just got to make sure we keep at least 5 magic points. That's the main concern. And let's go ahead and use those. At this point, the Atlas armlet by itself might be good enough to kill the 2 brawlers. I'm not sure about that. I'm not sure. We have run into quite a few brawlers, though. Okay, 18, which will take us down to 13. Which means that we can use 1 more fire, and then we gotta keep it in our pants until we get to the final boss of this area. There we go. Solid. Hopefully that will be enough. There we go. So long as we can manage to get this in one round, that's really what's most important. If we do it the way I just did there, we do lose the ability for Lock to steal once per round, or in the first round or whatever. Boy, that one gotta go ahead and crit there, don't you? But if we can make it a one-round fight, you know, that's what we're looking for here. We sure have encountered a lot of random encounters here. More than would be considered normal, I think. So far, so good. I think in a no experience game we would need those running shoes. But we're not playing a no experience game here, so... Thus far, we're doing okay without them. And the hyper wrist. We haven't gone more than one round. We also have only encountered one battle, though, so this is not a fair time because we've only had one battle where we had the woolly mammoth. I think they're called a tusker, maybe. Only one formation with a tusker in it. And we had one ability to cast fire in that battle. So it's been kind of a atypical, I guess you could say. That's not normal. Usually you'll run into, I don't know, a few of those. At least a few. It's nice to have got that level up there right before the fight, though, I'll tell you that. Well, you can take about 4 minutes off my stream time. So we're at about 37 minutes right here. That's solid. I'm hoping to be able to do one round of crossbow and then see the bears gone. That would be, in a perfect world, that's what we'd see here. But it doesn't look like we're going to get that. Oh, there we go. Yeah, that's what I was looking for. Alright. Did I have 2 magic and was not paying attention? It would be way better if that was the command you had to enter for Aura Bolt. That would be much better. I will grab this tent because it's like 4 steps out of the way. It would be nice if there were like a multi-target. Wow, that was fortuitous. It'd be nice if there were a multi-target blitz early on. Like auto crossbow. Even if it didn't do that much damage, just one that was, you know, multi-target. That would be nice. Wow, we got 2 Rhodox formations. Now, I'm not going to try and go out of my way to get any rages, but if we do, well, I guess it probably doesn't matter very much. It honestly probably does not matter very much. I forgot what I was even thinking about. What would matter? I don't recall. Oh, Rhodox. Yeah, okay, so what I was thinking is, so I'm not going to try and get any rages. You know, if we get one on the way down through the map, then okay, so be it. But, I'm not going to spend any time seeking out any rages. So... and we will go out of our way to get the white cape up here, and the air lancet. If nothing else, it's, you know, the True Knight actually is really helpful against Ultros. More so in like a zero experience game, it's critical, and so is the white cape. But it's even helpful in this game to keep everything going faster. But the amount of money that we just collected there, if that were money instead of actual like hardware. It's a chunk of cash that we just got there in that room. So that's money that we don't have to spend. That green cherry potentially could be a game-changing item. With the Opera House battle against Ultros, it may not come into play at all, but you know, it might be, you know, that could win the game or break, you know, that could win or lose the game for you. We're gonna try and say no 2 times and see what happens here. I think maybe you get Atlas Armlet if you say no twice, and then yes after that, so no once. And we'll see if we can get rid of that cutscene by saying no twice. I know that if you say no 3 times, you get rid of the cutscene and you get a Genji glove. But we'll see what happens after 2 no's. Gauntlet. So yeah, you got a gauntlet. If you say no once or no twice, you get a gauntlet. And you get the meeting. So, speed-wise, you might be better off just saying no 3 times. Because then you don't have to watch this cutscene. So, that's probably the best way to go. For some reason, I was thinking you might get an Atlas Armlet if you say no twice, and then yes after that. But this is killer here. This is like how long? You know, like a minute probably, just to get this stupid cutscene out of the way that you don't have to watch if you say no 3 times. I don't know if that's even worth it. So I think the Genji glove is the right move. Hopefully that'll finish him off. Well, even if it doesn't, we got that, I guess. Actually, I could probably just use Pummel on the Lit River because it would be, 100% that it would always hit, and the damage would be enough that it would kill its target. So I think that's probably for the best. Or I guess I should say that in conjunction with fire and auto crossbow, the target should die, which is about the best you can hope for. Because it wouldn't have made any difference if I had used Aura-Bolt there versus Pummel. I don't have any added benefit to using Aura-Bolt there, Other than maybe, I guess, possibly, other than possibly, I guess if Aura-Bolt and Auto Crossbow knocked off the top one, it's possible that a single target fire could conceivably have a single target fire could conceivably have ended the fight against the other enemy, but there's like almost zero chance that Pummel will ever have a incorrect input because it's just two buttons, left, right, left, whereas you have to do a quarter circle, which sometimes the controller doesn't like for Aura-Bolt. Usually it works, but sometimes it just doesn't like the input. I paused there before. So if you try to do a block on that second hit, it will always be a crit. I guess I could have just used the fire and it probably wouldn't have made any difference. But he likes to crit on that attack. So we're going to go ahead and do the Sabin quest second again here. There's like no justification to do anything but this one first because they have some pretty good equipment on, and it's easy enough to just simply complete this scenario and then remove that equipment so that everyone else can go ahead and use that equipment. Again, we don't really need to go into that room right now. The only thing of any real consequence in there, I guess, is I think there's probably a tincture in there, but there is a sleeping bag. I think there is, actually. Now that I think about it, I do think there is a tincture in there. Which, honestly, there's no good reason to use a tincture anywhere earlier than... I mean, honestly... Number 024, maybe? And under most circumstances, that's not necessary. Honestly, I can't even think of the first time where it would be reasonably reasonably appropriate, I guess. I don't even know what the right word would be. There's just... Why would you need to use a tincture, you know what I mean? Like... You don't really use magic of it. I mean, Terry uses magic, sure. We're gonna go ahead and grab this sleeping bag here because it's really close. It's like 2 or 3 steps. I don't remember what that chest is up there, but I don't think it's gonna do us as much good as the sleeping bag. The sleeping bag, you know, that's something where, you know, a guy might use a sleeping bag. To replenish a magic point pool somewhere along the line. But honestly, I can't think of a spot where it would be reasonable that a player might need to use a tincture. I mean, because any spot that you might want to use a tincture, or like might feel the need to use a tincture, I would say... I'm getting garbage. Any spot that it would be reasonable to think that you might need to replenish your magic. You're either on the world map, meaning that you could use a sleeping bag there, or you're in a spot where you have access to a save point, which again means that you'd be able to use a sleeping bag there. So I can't really think of a justifiable spot. Even in a no experience run, honestly, even in a no experience run, the first time in a no experience run that it would be justifiable would be 024. Yeah, the gauntlet or the Genji glove I think would have been better. Oh, crap. What did I miss? Anything? I don't think I did. Alright, that worked out. it would be really nice if that were a little more reliable, because it really hits pretty hard. It's just that oftentimes when you might want to use it, you're fighting something that isn't guaranteed to use a physical attack, and you're using something, or you're fighting something. So we're going to go ahead and get this because of the money again. It doesn't take that long, maybe 20-30 seconds. But we are getting something that we can turn into gold. And in the earlier part of the game, it's just tough to come by money. The Returners. What a name, the Returners. What are they returning from, you know? What are they returning? Take them all out. Your history, bub. Do I look like a waiter? I used to wait tables and work in bars, which, I mean, you're kind of waiting tables at that point, but it's like a little bit different environment typically. I mean, even if you work in a bar that has a full restaurant in it, or a full menu available for the patrons, it's just a different environment in a bar. I mean, sometimes, I guess I hardly ever go out anymore, but if I do, you know, I might be more likely, like if I'm going to order something, like to eat or whatever, I might be more likely to sit in the bar than in the restaurant area, just because oftentimes it will be, well, depending on the time of the day and the place, I might have a little bit more privacy and a little bit more space to myself in the bar. Plus, you oftentimes will get better service, because it just really depends on the place, and it depends on what time of the day it is, right? But a lot of times, if you're in a restaurant that also has a bar, and you're not there, you know, like let's say, you know, like, I don't know, just your average run-of-the-mill cookie cutter restaurant and bar, right? Some like commercial or corporate, right? Some kind of just corporate place that you can find in any town USA, right? You walk in there and they have a bar section and they have a dinner section, or it doesn't even have to be corporate, it could be a locally owned joint. Either way, there's the bar section and then there is the, dining restaurant section. Oftentimes, when you're in the bar section, you have the bartender who is taking care of you. And the bartender is typically working in their space, right? And they're the only one in there. If it's a bigger place or a busier place, there might be more than one bartender. But just generally speaking, you got the one bartender, and that's who you're dealing with, right? In the restaurant area, you're going to have some server, okay? Now, first of all, the bartender is probably better at their job than some server. No, not always, not always. But typically, in that kind of a restaurant that has a bar and a grill, meaning that it's a restaurant that also has a separate area as the bar, typically the person who's tending bar is one of the most experienced, if not the most experienced, or tenured person in the building. Odds are there's a decent chance they've been there longer than the manager. There's a realistic chance. I would even go so far as to say a probable chance, especially if it's a corporate entity. If it's a more locally owned joint, then maybe not, because it's better to work for a locally owned joint, because then you're just working for the owner. And if the place has been around for a while, the owner's probably not a douchebag. Maybe the owner is a douchebag, but he's never there. Who knows? Either way. I mean, the corporate places, they probably have a massive turnover in management because they just grind you to shit. But if it's a locally owned guy, I mean, it just depends on what kind of individual they are. But oftentimes, the locally owned joint, the guy is, of retirement age. He's owned the place for a long time. He's been making money for many, many, many years. He is wise enough to realize that, if he keeps a good group of staff on hand that have been there a long time, that know what they're doing, and the place is run on autopilot, and he has to pay them a little bit more and treat them a little bit better, he knows all too well that it's way better to have that situation than, to grind everybody down to the bone and, chew them up, spit them out, and then have massive turnover where no one that's working in the building, where 90% of the staff hasn't been there for 6 months. You got your lifers, right? You got the one cook that's been there forever. You got the one manager that maybe one of the managers might not even be the general manager, but somebody that's been there for a long time, right? But either way, the bartender probably been there for a long time, probably doesn't hate their job, and probably is good at their job. So the bartender is going to be the one that is going to give you, if you say, hey, what's good here, or what do you recommend, they're going to know what they're talking about. And they probably are going to do a good job. Whereas in the dining room side, you might get a good server. You never know. I've worked on both sides of that coin. And there are good servers in the locally owned place. There are good servers in the corporate place. I would say in most instances, the people that are good servers that are working in a corporate place are either way overqualified, and they're only there for a small window of time until something better is available to them, or they really just want the bartender job and they're just putting their time in, earning their stripes so they can get back behind the bar. But either way, You're probably going to get better service. You're probably going to be more pleased with your experience if you go into the bar and just sit down and order your meal in there. And now I'm talking about, you know, if it's just you or you and one other person, you know. I'm not talking about if you're taking your family or something like that out. You know, if you're taking your girlfriend or your wife out, she might want to sit in the dining room. I don't know. Everybody's got different women, you know. My ex-wife, she didn't care. She did not care where we sat. If it was in the bar or in the restaurant, it didn't matter to her as long as it was something that she was going to enjoy. She didn't care where we sat. Other women, you know, I don't know, man. Every woman is different. Every human being is different. There are people that are laid back, and there are people that are a pain in the ass. I guess I would consider myself somewhere in the middle, and it depends on my mood. Generally speaking, I'm pretty laid back. But you know, what you get from me depends on how long do I have to put up with you. You know, I'm not trying to sound like a douche. It's just that, like, in small increments, I can put up with anybody and put on a really big, you know, smile and play my role, right? You know, but whatever the what's the word I'm looking for here? Whatever social graces would be expected of me in any given situation, I can put that mask on and be that person. I'm not saying that I'm a fake person. I'm just saying, you know, there are certain social graces that a person is supposed to exhibit in certain situations in a civilized society. And I guess what I'm saying is I can behave myself for a limited period of time. But if I have to spend a lot of time with you, you know, eventually you're gonna I guess let's put it this way. Most people who meet me don't know me very well. I don't show them a lot of myself until I've got to know them fairly well and know if they're worth my time, you know? It's like they get a very generic version of myself. Most people do. Until, you know, if I have to spend a lot of time with somebody, like let's say you work with somebody, right? You know, you have to spend quite a bit of time with people, depending, you know, if you work directly with them, right? If you work in a building and there's a lot of people that work in that building, or, you know, people within your department or something, you know, I mean, you get to know them pretty well. But even then, like, you're far better off in a work environment just being a generic individual who focuses on how do I say it? Who focuses on not having negative interactions. It doesn't necessarily always have to be a positive interaction. A neutral interaction is perfectly fine. Just so long as you're not having negative interactions with the people that you work with, then, you know, that's all you gotta do, man. Just don't have negative interactions. Or limit them as best you can. That will serve you so much better than just, you know, telling people what you think. It took me a long time to learn that, you know. I wasn't always that way, but as I've aged, I've learned that you're far better off just giving the people you work with just a generic version of yourself that exhibits good social graces and just goes and does their job, right? Because honestly, most people fit into a couple of categories. Most people that you'll run into are going. They're non-confrontational. Most. I'm not saying everybody, because there's going to be people that are extremely confrontational. But generally speaking, most people are that you work with, right? They're non-confrontational. They just want to go to work. They want to go put their time in, and then go back to the rest of their normal life, right? And that's what they're there for. Some people are, there's a lot of reasons why, you know, people do all sorts of things for different reasons, but so most people don't want confrontation. They want to avoid confrontation, okay? So they've been taught from a very young age, you start learning this in like grade school, to just blend in, to be accepted by the herd. Don't be rejected by the herd. That's like the primary goal, right? When you're in like grade school, junior high, high school, because all that stuff is so important at that age. You know, it can be crippling for a young kid to be rejected by the herd. In the long run, I don't know how much difference it makes. There are a lot more moving parts, you know, like natural talents, natural gifts, things like that come into play and, you know, make a much larger impact than, you know, what your level of, what your social hierarchy level was in 4th grade, you know. I mean, I'm not saying it doesn't matter at all, because, you know, bad habits or good habits can start really early in a person's life. But generally speaking, high school is a lot more important than grade school. Because, you know, a lot of times people will change schools when they leave grade school to go to junior high, and they'll be in a whole different group of kids, you know. Some kids will transfer over, but a lot of times they have a whole new group of people that they meet. And so, you know, whether they were at the top of the social hierarchy or not, or in the middle or at the bottom, you know, they have to start all over when they change schools. It's not like they get to carry that it's not like it's something they get to bank and take it with them, you know. They'll be able to take their skills, their social skills and such. You know, you can bank those, but it's easy to mess stuff up like that in grade school and junior high. It's really easy to... That's why everything seems to be such a big deal, you know? Having to have the right pair of shoes, or the right piece of clothing, or the right whatever, right? Everything is so critical as it pertains to, you know, not losing your acceptance of the herd. And some of that stuff matters in adulthood, but when you're in grade school, high school, junior high school, you have this, in college as well, but you have this large social entity that everybody's clustered into. But as people get older, their circle gets smaller and smaller and smaller. So I'm not going to say it doesn't matter at all, because I mean, if you choose the wrong people to spend your time with when you're in junior high school, and then that leads into the people who you spend time with in high school, and then the people you spend time with, you know, into your 20s, right? Or maybe even into college. if a person goes to college. So that stuff definitely matters, especially in high school. I don't think there's much that can be done in junior high. Well, who knows anymore, you know? Who knows anymore, I guess, now that I think about it. When I was in junior high, outside of getting pregnant, there wasn't a whole lot that could happen in junior high that was going to bleed over that much into high school. I mean, maybe a little bit, right? But you change schools again. So you have this whole other social hierarchy that you have to start all over. Whether you're on the top or on the bottom or in the middle, it doesn't really matter. You have to start all over when you're put into a new pond, right? Maybe some of the same fish that were in your old pond are there, but you're all just a bunch of fish in a brand new pond, and the pond is bigger than it was before. So you got to start all over. Besides, you're starting at the bottom, right? Because if you're going from junior high school to high school, let's just say, for example, that you were at the top of the social hierarchy in junior high, right? Well, now you're moving to a new school and you're in the bottom grade of that group. So your social hierarchy, you're at the bottom. You're starting all over. Sometimes people are able to rise pretty quickly through the social hierarchy, but either way, they're starting at the bottom. Wrong door. I lost what my original train of thought was. It was something having to do with work. Something having to do with being a generic person at work and minimizing negative encounters with your coworkers. I don't really remember exactly where I was going with all of that. It doesn't really matter. So the reason why I'm using Pummel instead of Arbolt is because it should kill everybody in one attack, and it's more reliable than Arbolt. Arbolt, it hits harder, and depending on the situation, I will use Arbolt. But in this situation, hitting harder is less important than guaranteeing the hit, because the hit should one-shot everything, except for... There's a boss, I guess not really a boss. There's like a, I don't even know if I want to call him a mini-boss. I guess he's kind of a mini-boss. He's quite a bit stronger than anything else we've fought so far in the whole game. Hit point-wise, I don't think... Well, maybe Welk? Maybe? I don't think so, though. I think this guy's got more hit points than Welk. This guy's got... He's got some hit points. If you go get one of the ghosts to join your party, you can use the Possess ability to kill this guy in one shot, but I don't know how much worth it is because it takes time. There's dialogue. You gotta add the ghost to the party, so I'm not really sure that it's actually a time save. And we will be cheesing this this train. There's no reason not to. As with many Final Fantasy games, undead things are susceptible to cure things, or in this case, a Phoenix down. It's faster, and it's not like he's some terribly difficult enemy, but And plus, you know, I guess it's kind of intuitive that it would be an undead, but you know, it's a machine, so you don't necessarily. It's named Ghost Train though, so you know, it's not too far-fetched to think that it is undead, but a Phoenix Down will kill most undead things in this game. Possibly all undead things. I feel like there's a couple of undead things that a Phoenix Down won't kill, but I could be mistaken about that. It may literally kill every undead in the game. Alright. I think it's possible that maybe I have solved the issue with my controller wanting to disconnect sometimes. I went into my Norton and changed some of the settings as far as notification stuff in there, because it likes to do some stupid shit that I didn't want it to do. Like the default setting was stuff that I don't really care about. And so hopefully that solves the problem, because every now and again there would be this intermittent thing where my controller would disconnect just for a fraction of a second and then reconnect, and it was just annoying, you know? Like didn't seem to be any rhyme or reason to it. It's not like I was doing anything. It was just something that was happening. And the only thing I could think of that made any sense was that there was some program that was running, and that it was interfering some way with another program, and thereby creating this brief interruption. Not something that would typically be noticeable, but in this case, if it causes the controller to, you know, disconnect and reconnect for even the smallest fraction of a second, then some of the software is going to be like, nah, I don't think I'm going to behave the way you like now. So it's frustrating and pissing me off. But it hasn't happened yet. And usually it was something that would happen, you know, there was no, like, rhyme or reason to it. Wow, we got a whole bunch of shit now. Hopefully Pummel will function as a one-shot here as well. I'd rather use the input of Pummel than Orbital. Orbital hits harder, but if Pummel is strong enough to one-shot these things, then there's no reason to just not use Pummel. It's gonna always hit. Or it's gonna... There won't be any failure of input, or there shouldn't be, because it's just simply left, right, left. Whereas you have to roll from down to left with the thumb pad or with the D-pad for R bolt, and although that's a very basic and simple input, there is a greater likelihood of the controller not properly reading the input, as you have to roll across a diagonal. It's just the nature of things. But left, right, left is just a straight-on button push. So that's not a problem, you know? It's pretty difficult to miss that, you know? But the only thing you could do is just push the button a little bit too softly and have it not recognize the input. We are going to use R bolt here. Hopefully it won't fail us. The reason being is this is a quote-unquote boss, and although there's a really small likelihood that El Nino would kill us, hopefully it doesn't. Son of a bitch, dude. Well, that's our game. Alright, so we got 140. I probably didn't heal up. That's probably why. I didn't heal up before we jumped down the Barren Falls. Alright, so 140. And then, I'll have to write that down. Barren Falls, 140, and then minus 4 minutes off that for the beginning of the timer, so we'll say 136.30. Well, so that kind of sucks. Alright, so let's write this down here. Did not collect any chests other than relics, Guardian, Returner's Hideout, Imperial Base, forgot to heal before jumping. I guess we can start this thing over again. I'll end this stream and start a new stream. That does kind of suck, though. That's my fault. But these are little things that I gotta remember, you know? Gotta remember to heal before you jump down that. Because that's kind of what this is all about, is knocking out the little things that could wreck a run, you know? Alright, well, thank you for your time. I'm going to take a short break, and then we'll come right back at this.